welcome everyone today. I'm Rachel Kemp with Live the Blissful Life, and I'm super excited to have Amber Carver here today to share some awesome content information with you guys. Amber is with Integrative Counseling and Nutritional Consulting, which is an amazing topic that I want to talk with you guys about. So I will introduce her here in a minute and let you guys know what we are going to be talking about today, because this is a topic that is very near and dear to me, and it doesn't get talked about enough. It is kind of a touchy subject here and there, so it can hit some emotions and some pain points, but really some great things can come out of it to help you guys live the blissful life. So with Amber, when I thought about coming live on the podcast with this nutrition topic, I thought of her very first. I said, I truly need to get Amber on here to talk with you guys about nutrition, emotional eating, and everything behind that. So Amber Carver is a licensed professional counselor, and she's certified national therapy practitioner. So that's an LPC and an NTP with a decade of experience serving clients in private practice. She received her MA in counseling from Regent University and went on to complete a certification in nutritional therapy from the Nutritional Therapy Association. Amber helps her clients achieve mental health and wellness by operating from an integrative perspective. This is what I love. She utilizes a variety of holistic health strategies to help her clients reach their goals. She has a strong understanding of the relationship between nutrition and mental health. She uses this connection to help her clients heal from the inside out and create long-lasting changes in their lives. When she's not at work helping all of these people, you can find her hanging with her kiddos, hubby, and fur babies. She loves creating in the kitchen and soaking up the sunshine, which I do too, if you guys know that about me. So I love cooking and I love being in the sunshine. So thank you, Amber. Thank you for being here today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. So we are going to dive right in. Amber and I have had a few conversations about what we could talk about, so many different things, and we want to keep it to around 20, 30 minutes at the most. But this is the most interesting topic to me, is understanding the reasons of why we emotionally eat.
Yes. So this topic could be huge. But I think it's so important to really start with the why. Why do we emotionally eat? And there's the mental health and emotional perspective behind that. And then there's also the physiological perspective behind what's going on in our body that increases that desire to eat out of our emotions. So let's maybe start with like the mental health emotion side of it. Okay. When we think about emotional eating, to me, I'm like, it's just this obvious thing, especially in our culture, because so much of what we do is already around food. Now we've had a huge change with that because of this pandemic. But celebrations are around food most of the time. Even sadness or grieving, funerals, loss, a lot of times that's also centered around food. What happens when someone dies? You bring them food. Yeah. So whether it's this positive emotion or a negative emotion, it's there. So when we start to dive into emotional eating, I also want to clarify that there's a difference between eating to celebrate and feel an emotion. There's this spectrum that may be down here on that end where I feel like that's incredibly normal.
Yeah.
Then there's this side where it kind of moves into an emotional overeating, where it's eating to protect, eating to maybe fill a void, And then what's happening is it's actually interfering with your quality of life.
Yeah.
So I really think it's important that we understand that spectrum. I'm not coming to you today to be like, don't ever eat out of your emotions.
Yeah.
It's all about being aware of what's actually going on. So the first thing I would say is like, get curious. Let's pause. Let's be really curious about, wait a second, am I eating out of emotion and is it interfering with my day-to-day life? Because if it is, then that's where you need to ask some hard questions. And I loved how in your intro you were talking about like, it could be uncomfortable or it could create some pain points for people. Because so often emotional eating is from this place of discomfort. It's what we turn to provide comfort, to fill a void, to numb ourselves by just this repetitive pattern of eating. So really being curious about what's happening there.
Yeah.
You know, the other side here too with the emotional piece is food scarcity. I think that that's something that's maybe not talked about very often is how is food presented to you as a child? What was the messages you were receiving around food? Was food scarce? That's a reality. Yeah. So if that's the case, then that can even create this pattern of, I don't know when I'm going to get my next meal. I don't know when I'm going to have more. So I need to eat all of this right now.
Yeah. And it also can stem from, absolutely, I love when you said from your childhood and everything else, you're in a large family and you're like, guard your food, type of thing, or anything like that. And as a mother, as we are both mothers, like, sitting around a dinner table eating a dinner with your family, that rarely happens anymore. Like it used to happen. We're on the go, we're busy, we're in front of the TV, we're doing this, that, the other. So finding those healthy boundaries, you know what I mean? Like you said, like you can still emotional eat and you can still celebrate. And, we just celebrated a birthday in our household for my little boy. And it was so much fun. And I made a healthy cake, and nobody even noticed, like nobody flinched. So
yeah,
it was great, but like, I love the celebration and we need food every single day in our life. That's how we survive. We need food, water, and shelter. And so you can have a healthy emotional relationship with the food you're eating. And I love where you said, like, be aware, like question, like maybe what are some of those hard questions that you ask yourself if you know you're going down the wrong road that day of emotional eating, like you're not feeling your best or something has happened to you and you're like, I'm going to turn to this to feel better.
Yeah. Curiosity and coming from a place of love versus judgment.
Okay.
I think that's really where you have to start. And that just rolls off my tongue, but I understand that's not an easy thing to do because that awareness may not be there right away. The questions to ask are maybe what's really going on? What emotion am I trying to get away from? Okay. And I wonder what that's about. I wonder where that came from. Just that curiosity of maybe it was, honestly, maybe you overslept in the morning and then you felt frantic that entire day and it just started your day off in that place and you are looking to calm yourself down. And so you turn to food to provide a sense of calm.
Yeah.
Or maybe you had a negative interaction with a friend or a coworker or stress was incredibly high.
Yeah.
So asking yourself, what emotion am I feeling? Am I procrastinating? Right?
Yeah.
Like, do I have this big project and I'm like, well, I'll just do that after I go get a snack, and then you've had your 5th snack and project's still not started.
Yeah. That's fun. And like, So finding new healthy foods that you can get attached to. So instead of like reaching for the candy bar, possibly reaching for like the apples and the peanut butter aspect and different things like that, or finding your favorite things that you maybe got as a child that comfort you, like your mother's recipes, but they weren't the healthiest, and converting them to a healthier nutritional recipe to still fulfill that emotional time and then fuel your body like in a great way, the way your body wants it.
Yes, yes. I love, that's one of the things that I really love to do when I'm working one-on-one with clients, is to help them create these healthier swap out options, because it's not about never eating something again.
Yeah.
But it's also about nourishing your body. So what are those little like tricks and swaps that you can make that, you're right, fuel you to get through the day, but can also still provide maybe that memory that you have around this food? And what does that look like?
And we have so many memories, and in our culture, and our country is like full of melting pots. So different cultures are in here, like Puerto Ricans and Spanish and, like all different countries from around the world, a lot of Latino cultures here in the United States, and they're like really big into food. I was raised in an international household with Italian and Norwegian. So that, you know what I mean? You have your traditions, and Americans have their traditions too, but I feel like the va-va-voom of some other countries really, they get, everything is revolved around food. So that, and as you said, like a stressful environment, we've had a really stressful year this last year, no matter, it's been stress on everyone, no matter what has been happening. Transitioning into more of a virtual world, transitioning into, keeping your family healthy and safe and all of that. And then just stuff hitting the fan. So like what do? We turn to comfort foods and alcohol and substance abuse. And unfortunately, everyone's had a season with it. And I had my own season with it. And then I decided to, one day I was like, okay, I have to do a nutritional challenge, because I got to jump out of this. I got to get back focused into refocus. So awareness is number one, like asking yourself those hard questions, noticing what's going on, and then refocusing. Like, I love how you said, when you work with your clients one-on-one, you come. So what other options do like people have, resources of yours, that they can turn to you for advice and help?
Yeah. So they can always follow me on Instagram. I try to post some just like mental health pieces and some nutrition pieces. I share in my stories what's going on in my kitchen. So that's a good option. I also have a blog where I share some healthier recipe ideas too, ambercarver.com. And then I'm actually in the process of working on an emotional eating workshop. So that's set to launch in February. So that's something people can keep their eye out for too.
Awesome. And I'm so glad you said your Instagram. I follow your Instagram. I love it. I love getting your emails. I love getting, the emails that I get just after you go to her website, sign up for her emails. There's so much fun stuff in it and informational stuff that truly can help, because it's stuff that we don't really think about on a daily basis, unless you're focusing on it. So sometimes I didn't even know I was emotional eating all the time, or turning to things. And at the end of the day, like when you're going through a hard season and you're already in that hard season and stressed out and anything like that, and then you don't feed your body very strong nutritional food, you're really just kind of continuing to make it a worse, I would say, without even knowing what that you're making it worse. And then I'm very transparent and open, and going through a separation and becoming a single mother. And it was a hard season for me, super hard. And then, so I was stressed out by that. And then I was not eating very nutritionally well. I normally do eat very nutritionally well, so it was something very odd for me. And then I came out of this and I was like, oh, now I'm sad, depressed, fat, like what else? You know, like, but it was like at any moment you can turn it around. So acknowledging it, like being in it is okay, but just really get out of it, you know, finding some stepping stones to get out of it. So Amber is awesome at working with her clients to make those steps forward in a healthy way to truly, like, because it happens to all of us, happens to the best of us, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I think that it's pretty common. And you're right. I want to kind of touch on that piece there of like the nutritional wellness piece, because what actually happens within our body, there's a couple of factors that play a really big role. And one of those is when we're eating processed foods, there's typically a lot of different types of sugars in those foods. Or when we're turning to the cakes, the cookies, the sweets, even the alcohol, because our body processes that as sugar. Yeah. So that's triggering that dopamine release in your brain, which is our feel-good hormone, right? And so then you're automatically like, where am I going to get my next boost? So that's happening in your brain, which can actually increase the cycle of emotional eating. The other piece that's happening is that your blood sugar levels are starting to do this, which they're spiking and then they're dropping, and then you're craving, and then you're sad because it's gone, you're tired, you're lethargic. And so you're looking for that next boost in that regard too. And it's putting stress on your body. So then your brain and your gut, they're not communicating as well as they could be. And then it creates inflammation. So then you have so many other factors playing into this that, I mean, just stress alone creates that automatic reaction to where our body thinks that we need higher fat, higher carb foods to survive. Our bodies manage stress, whether it's an emotional stress or like a physical stress, it responds the same way. So really being mindful of those stress levels and again, like getting curious about how you can put some things in place to help you manage the stress.
Yeah, so that was really the next thing. And I love the science behind it. I love those two analogies and like the crash, the roller coaster that you go on with it. And at the end of the day, it's not helping you with your stressful situation. It's just, it's adding to the harm, the negative effects to your body and everything else like on that. So it's awesome that if what are some really, and you just mentioned some, but maybe you have some more too, because we can always use more. What are some good ways to strategize on how to cope, finding ways to cope with this?
Yeah. So I've already mentioned awareness, which I honestly think that's just huge. It's really your stepping stone, that starting point. Mindfulness activities. So breathing exercises, even if it's 3 deep breaths, that's going to really, what that actually does is it puts your body in a state of rest so that you can digest your food, but it's also puts your body into a place of rest. So then you're not stressed. And what happens is instead of having tunnel vision, your vision starts to broaden, and then you can think from a place of clarity versus a place of stress.
Real quick, I love the breathing exercises thing. And it's almost like I've started incorporating it. And we do prayer before we eat. So I'm just doing like deep breaths through my prayer. And when I'm giving my son time to pray over our food, then I can concentrate on, I'm listening to him, but it's so amazing how I didn't even know we were doing this, but I guess we're doing something great. So put your body into rest and not stress, and then your body can digest things better.
Yes. I love that. It just creates a natural pause for you.
Yeah. We need to pause in this crazy world, right? It's definitely can go in a fast pace, and I can get caught up in that fast pace too. So
you're human, right?
I interrupted you. I think you had one more.
So Yeah, so awareness, that mindfulness, engaging your senses, I also think is really important. So when you go to eat something, putting it on a plate, but then also within the deep breaths that you're taking is notice what you see on your plate, what colors are there, do you smell anything? If you're sitting down, what does that feel? What does the chair feel like? Because again, that slows you down. And that's
Yeah.
really one of the biggest goals, is also then staying in the present moment. So often when we're emotional eating, we're worried about the future. We're thinking about this thing from the past. We're reacting. And so we're not actually present in this moment. So those are just some really tangible ways that you can move into this place of awareness to help slow down that reaction of emotional eating.
I love it. I completely love it. I guess I was doing some of it and didn't even know, but now being mindful of it, and a lot of being present. I love that. Our mind really only uses our conscious, which is present at 5% of the time. So we really have to hone in on that and focus in on that and be present. And I do that with my son. We talk about the food on our plate, like the different colors and what, where it comes from and what it's doing for our body and, like how, so in teaching them to find more colorful food. And it's like, it's their foundation. Like children love color, and that's, they're learning about colors in school or in books and on their little TV shows and everything else like that. So colors are amazing. And we need to get back to like our childhood sometimes and find the joy and and the fun and being present in that moment and being relaxed and knowing that like that would be the emotional tie in with your food right there, celebrating it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that because you're teaching and you're modeling mindfulness and what even like a relationship with food could look like.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think we sat down at the table when we were younger, or the TV table or whatever we did. And we were like, just like scarfed down our food or like, and they're like, eat your vegetables. And like, you know what I mean? Like that was what was heard, what back in the day. So now, I do try to teach my son to be a lot more mindful and cognizant, and we know where our food comes from. And and really, food is an important part of our life, so finding some great sources of food and all of that and nourishing our bodies, our mind. I love the analogy with the mind and the gut. Like we could talk about that all day. We'll have to do another one just on that. This is on emotional stuff, but with your mind and your gut and how that works together. You, Amber, you're like a wealth of knowledge, like so much. I could sit here and talk all day long. I really could. And because I love food. I mean, most people love food, right?
Yes.
But I want to ask you one question before we end today is, what does living the blissful life mean to you?
The first thing that comes to my mind when you ask that question is peace. And I think that that's an internal piece of maybe confidence within myself, peace within my family, peace with our relationships, peace knowing that like you're showing up for yourself. Mm-hmm. So I really think for me, I would say it means that I'm being true to who I am, and that it's creating this ripple effect to all of those I interact with around me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Because when you said showing up for yourself, I was like, yes. Because if you don't show up for yourself, then you can't show up for others in the best way possible.
Yes.
So thank you so much. I wish you peace. I thank you for sharing with us today. It's definitely a topic that I love and I learned, and I hope you guys learned some great information today. And please follow Amber Carver on Instagram, her ambercarver.com, and her workshop is coming up in February. So if you definitely need some some hands-on training with that, she's a wealth of knowledge, definitely can help you move in the right direction. And thank you so much, Amber.
Thank you. It's been so fun. I've loved talking with you about this. Yes.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, love, and so I always start and end I always end everything with peace, love, and blissful life. And you said peace was, so I was like, wait, peace, love, and everyone have a wonderful day. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.